Good Saturday morning, everyone. Here we are with IAMB2's Women Who Transcend Boundaries. And I am excited to be here today with Tammy P. Moore. Tammy is a woman who does so many things. And so before Tammy comes in, I'm going to play our intro song, give her a chance to just get ready and get adjusted, and you get adjusted. Get ready to hear her message that she wants to share with women all over the world. In spite of all your hurt and pain, disappointments and everyday strain, there is a place where you can go, where your visions and dreams can grow. I am beautiful too. I'm telling you I am beautiful too. So beautiful, your heart is beautiful. I am beautiful, our lives are beautiful. We are so beautiful, together we are. I am forever we are. Together we are. So beautiful, so beautiful. You should know, God told me so. Well, good morning again, ladies and gents. Shall I say afternoon here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I know it's still morning over there in Illinois area. But I am just excited. I'm trying not to get so hyped up because of my guest today. But yes, we have Tammy P. Moore with us, and I'm so excited to have you with us, Tam, because you do so many things in the community. As well as in your family. I've seen you in so many dynamics. I've seen you dance. I've seen you minister. I've seen you as you're talking about selling homes and the lives that you touch and change. I think more recently, you shared a clip of people who were new home buyers. And it even makes me tear up now. And I think about, what you were saying, some of them had the opportunity to buy their first home, and you were working with a builder specifically who selected you in your mortgage company. And so I was just so excited because I could see the joy and hear the joy as I listened to the clip, of the home buyers who were getting their first home, and just all of the things that you do in the community. I had to have the opportunity to bring you on. In fact, I thought, oh, maybe I won't do one right after Thanksgiving. And then I thought about you. And I was talking to Henrietta. I was like, I got to get Tammy on. So I was like, I'm coming right after Thanksgiving. She's like, why not come right after Thanksgiving? Most people are at home anyway. So just want to hear from you today, Tammy, and share your message. And as we dialogue a little bit, I want you to start thinking about, what is it that you want to tell women? What's that one message that you have for them as you have transcended boundaries and are continuing to do so? So Tammy, let me hear from you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning, everybody. I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins, for inviting me. As you mentioned, I'm Tammy Moore. I am a part owner of Diamond Residential Mortgage, and I own Tammy P. Moore and Associates. I'm a native of Vicksburg, Mississippi, and I have been for the last 20 years trying to empower families and women to build generational wealth, to know that they are enough, credit repair, and the dream of homeownership. So I say that God blessed me to be a dream carrier and to be a servant of him to help his people. I just truly believe that he aligns me with the people that he wants me to be assigned to be blessed. And so I never take that for granted. It never gets old. 20 years later, I'm still crying at closing, still shouting over improved credit scores and people actually, having that aha moment. So I'm honored and blessed to be here.
Wonderful. So Tammy, tell us, how did you find that thing that you do, that you knew it was God calling you to this specific thing that you do in your life? So I know that your job, I've seen you, I've heard you, I know that it is ministry for you. How did you get there? What did you do? What were some of the steps you took?
Well, it was just God ordering my steps. I have a unique story. I worked in marketing for years and I desired to have a baby. And when I finally got pregnant with my son, it took me 10 years to get pregnant. I got laid off on maternity leave. And I took it as a blessing from the Lord. I shouted all the way to the car. I was not sad because I'm like, here I am, this baby that I asked for. God blessed me with it. And now I get to be at home and not have to rush back to work. Well, during the time that I was off, one of my really good friends was refinancing. And let me just say this in the beginning. Since I have been 3 years old, I've always loved numbers, always enjoy helping, always, that was just my calling. You can look at a child when they're growing up and know what they're going to do later, based on, things that they like to do as a child. So I love calculators. I got a cash register and a calculator for Christmas every year. So he was refinancing and he had some questions about his refinance. And so he asked me to look over the paperwork. And when I called the loan officer and said I had a few questions, she was impressed. She was like, how could you not be in the industry and know all of this? And so she called me in and said she wanted to talk with me, and she offered me a job on the spot. And little did I know, she was one of the first female mortgage company owners in Lake County. I had no idea who I was talking to. And she could have been offended, but she saw something in me.
Yes.
And before that, I went through a divorce, and I always prided myself on paying my bills on time. And so I went through a divorce and my credit was shot. And so I started to study credit repair. I was my first student. And so it just came natural for me because I thought to myself, why didn't somebody tell me all this stuff? And I vowed that I would share the information that I had. So God actually put me in a place where I had the opportunity to help others, repair their credit, become homeowners. And he just ordered my steps. Had I never had been laid off, because I'm loyal to whatever I do, I probably never would have had that encounter with her. And she mentored me. She taught me everything she knew. And she had a heart for the people. She did credit repair when no one else did. And she goes, you have to help anybody that comes in your presence. You never know when you're entertaining angels. And so I just felt like God aligned us together to be a blessing to others.
Yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. So in that alignment, what were some of the other things that just came into play as you were learning the business, as you were offered the job opportunity? How did you grow from there to become vice president, part owner of your mortgage company?
When I started doing it, I knew this is what God had for me. There was no doubt in my mind that he had for such a time as this, he had put me there, because everything just started to fall into place. And by man's standards, I wasn't even supposed to be working there.
Yeah.
And so I had no experience. Normally, before you become a loan officer, you need 2-3 years experience. But I started to do things nobody else did. I started to do home buyer seminars, credit repair. And credit repair is something, if you come into a mortgage company, you're not ready to buy, they normally just send you on your way because they're trying to do mortgages. Credit repair is something that I have done no charge for 20 years on the side, simply because I want to change generations. And I know that it starts at home and it starts with one person at a time.
Yeah.
And so I started working, and then, the business just started to come. And from there, I got promoted to branch manager. And then from there, I had a whole staff of about 40 people that I managed. And the market crashed in 2007. We came in, I'll never forget, it was August 14th. We came in the day before my birthday, 2007, and they told us that the company that we worked for went bankrupt. And again, God ordered our steps. Because they went bankrupt, we joined a company called Flagstar Bank. And in 2010, 14 of us decided that Flagstar Bank offered us our first wholesale line of credit to have our own mortgage company. And 14 of us got together, including Esther Lee, my mentor, and they offered me the opportunity to become an owner. And we have not looked back. We have done leaps and bounds. And I'm still in the day-to-day doing loans. People are like, do you still do loans? I'm like, absolutely. As long as I am in the business, until Esther Lee left this earth and could no longer take care of herself, she still did loans, because that you have to be on the front lines to be impactful. And so I will be a servant always.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, I just love it. I love your story. I love what you do. Talk to me about, because I've chimed in on a couple of Tuesday tidbits, and the message that you bring on Tuesday Tidbits and the fashion, because it's not just really when I watched you, it's not just about fashion and showing us what you have on, but you show us how to be cost effective, just to not be able to try new looks, new colors. So talk to me a little bit about that, Tammy.
That again is something that I've done since I was 3. I've always loved, we didn't have much growing up. And so I would get all these hand-me-downs and I would take them and remake them. I would cut slits in them and sew ribbons and all this stuff. And when one time I saw my aunt and I had on a pair of jeans she gave me, she's like, "Where'd you get those from?" I'm like, "You gave them to me." She goes, "What'd you do to them?" So that's always been a passion of mine, but I don't believe in breaking the bank to look good. And you have to decide how you want to show up in the world.
Yeah.
And showing up in the world is not about expensive things and it's not about glitz and glam. Although I love jewelry, everything I have on is costume, but you have to show up as your authentic self. And I've always, that's my thing. I've always loved clothes, but I've always been frugal. So I try to show you how to be a fashionista, budget fashionista. And on our Tuesday Tidbits, we talk about food, faith, fashion, finances, and fitness, a little bit of everything. But I see so many women down on themselves about how they look. And you can go to a thrift store. I shop at Walmart. I shop at Target. Every now and then I'll splurge on, a little designer handbag or something, every now and then, because I am frugal with my money. I am never going to sacrifice my family's generational wealth for, a temporary something that's not an asset, that's a liability.
Yes. One of the things I love is that, how you can take something and just make it so beautiful. That's one of my mottos. But I remember, as I connect with your story, I remember my mother could sew very well. And so I remember going to the Salvation Army down on Genesee Street. You could just walk in there and buy stuff, right? And so they would have like a mammoth amount of men's suits, right? And so the way the men's suit was cut, it just was just sharp to me. So I remember taking the suit home to my mother. It was a men's pantsuit. And she took the pair of pants and cut them, made a skirt out of them. That was the baddest suit. It was brown plaid. Oh, that suit was bad. And I started, after a while, you pick up a little weight. I could wear it no more. I didn't appreciate it that moment. I should have kept it from, that point forward. But, it's just amazing to see what people can do with clothes and putting things together. So that's just something I love. My sister loves to put clothes together. I don't feel like I have that level of creativity, but I love watching you. And more recently, you had on like the mustard color yellow outfit. Oh girl, I was like,
I have on a pink one now. And this, actually in this, you can just dress it up. All I did was put a little necklace on with it and some earrings, and now it's all dressed up. But these are my stay-at-home. I call them stay-at-home Zoom clothes because, if I have to run out and meet a customer or something, they're very comfy, but you can make them fashionable. And the thing too is, it's just, we as women, we give ourselves such a hard time, but it's like, if you feel amazing in something, it does not matter what you have on. You could have, like, most of my head wraps I get at the dollar store. Yeah. They're the little scarves, right? So you can't be focused on what stuff costs. You make your clothes don't make you. And like I said, you have to decide how you show up. If you have a good spirit, a smile on your face, it does not matter what you have on, you will be beautiful to the world.
Yeah, I was just, as soon as you said that, it just dropped in my spirit. The amazing is what starts the everything else. You know what I mean? You wake up feeling amazing, you're able to put on amazing clothes, and those clothes continue to make you feel as amazing as the Creator has made us. One of the things I was thinking about, Tammy, is your great love for God. I know how much you love the Lord, how you share the word, how you rightly divide the word of truth. Talk to me about your relationship with God and how that has progressed. I know your mother, your grandmother, I know the family's love for the Lord. So just tell us a little bit about, what God means to you in your life and your family.
We've been in church all our lives. And so my grandmother, my grandmother's 96, and she used to just quote scriptures to us, like, make haste and spare the rod, spoil the child. And, we didn't realize till we got older, she was constantly teaching us the word of God and always giving us the principles of the Bible. But it wasn't until I developed that relationship. And I always say, relationship over religion, because my relationship with the Lord is no different than my relationship with my husband and my son. I have to nurture it. I wake up in the morning talking to him. You know, I trust him with my business. I trust him with my son. I trust him with my husband. I pray over my customers, and I know that my job as a ministry, I minister on my job. You know, I'm telling my customers, look, if this is what God has for you, it will work out. If not, it means wait. You know, so it's like in every aspect, you know, you don't have to be a Bible thumper, but you have to let your light shine and live that life before people, that they see the God in you.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I talk to the Lord. If I'm feeling crazy in the morning, I wake up, you know, just like last night, it's the end of the month. It was a holiday. I have loans closing on Monday and still working on them. I just talked to the Lord and I said, Lord, you know what I'm going through. You know what I need. And, you know, I'm going to trust you. You know, I'm going to trust you to do it. I turn it all over to him, because I couldn't do all the things that I do without God. And those still small voices and that discerning spirit he gives me is what helps me to run on. And I know whatever he wants me to do or whatever he has for me, he will see fit. And if it's not in his will, I don't want it.
Yes, yes, beautiful, beautiful. I know you have the opportunity also in your busy schedule to praise dance, and I've seen you dance so beautifully. And you got to share a little bit about what that does for you, how you minister um, in that. I know you've come to a few of my conferences, if not every one of my conferences, right? and spoke, performed, whatever it was going to do, whatever the Lord was calling you to. So just, you know, tell us a little bit about what that does for you. And then, you know, what I want you to also tell a woman who's a little bit fearful about, you know, getting into the praise dance ministry. Maybe she thinks she's, you know, a little too old, or I don't think I can do it, or the people are going to look at me. Tell the women out there who want to do something, not just praise dancing, because you do that so well, and that is one of your ministries, but tell us a little bit about that, Tammy.
Well, I watch the Vessels of Praise. I'm a member of and I'm actually the choreographer. I have been for probably about 15 years, 14
Yes.
years. And I watched them for years. I tell them this all the time. I was a groupie, and I would think to myself, how could they get up there? If I don't have to do something, I'm an introvert. I'm quiet. I keep to myself unless I'm asked to do something. If I'm asked to, I've never really volunteered for anything. If somebody asks me to speak, I will, or what have you. So I would just watch them, and I was just enamored with them. And I told my husband, like, God, I wish I could do that. So one day, Tony Campbell, Helen was already a praise dancer, and I was working in the finance office at the church. And every time they would minister, I would stop counting the money and run outside. And he goes, why don't you just go ahead and join them? I go, oh, I could never do that. What would they say? What would people think? You know, I was worried about that. But once I started doing it, praise dance is between you and God. Like, I don't even know who's in the audience. It's just between me and God. And we listen to songs and we internalize them. And I love praise dance ministry because I can't sing. And so that's my way of ministering to the Lord. So for those of you that have a heart to dance, or you have a heart to do something for the Lord, it's just you and the Lord. So all you have to do is remove all fear and doubt and ask him to give you the strength and courage to come forth. And I have never looked back. I love my sisters, and I love dissecting a song, listening to someone put words together and then seeing us interpret it and dance. Sometimes we're in awe of ourselves. We'll go back and look at the praise dance ministry, and we can see the spirit of the Lord upon us. And it's like, you don't even know, like, I'll go back and go, oh my God, look, somebody's standing up. Because honestly, when you're ministering, you don't pay attention to anything. You just focus on the ministry and interpreting the Lord's word to the congregation.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. I've seen you all so many times, and it's just always been amazing and awesome. So Tammy, you know, if you had to share something with women all around the world who are looking to move forward in their jobs and their roles, women who are moms, grandmas, just trying to balance things, tell us, you know, what would be your message to them? What would you want them to know?
You are enough. You are enough, and you are worthy of everything that God has for you. And, a lot of times people are always asking, how do you do this and how do you do that? I
Yeah.
don't get up in the morning thinking about me. I just say, Lord, have your way with my day. And it took me a long time to get to that point because I used to stress out and cry and I realized at the end of every day, I accomplished exactly what God intended for me to accomplish. And you can be great and amazing at a lot of things as long as you put God first, and you can't forget how you got where you are. You can never, you can't despise small beginnings.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I always say this, and I say this a lot of times when I said it on Tuesday Tidbits, we see the glory, but we don't know the story. Like you don't know what God is going to take you through to get you where you need to go. And
Yes.
so stop being so hard on yourself. Stop beating yourself up. And I have to tell myself that, and my husband has to remind, I have to tell myself sometimes in the morning, I have these little affirmations I listen to that tells me you are enough, you
Yes.
are beautiful, you are amazing, you are a good mom, you are doing excellent in your job. You deserve everything that God has for you. You
Yeah.
deserve that promotion. You deserve to own your own company. You deserve to we're so creative, but we stop ourselves by doubt.
Yeah.
So remove fear and doubt and let God have his way.
Yeah, beautiful.
You are enough.
Yeah, I gotta hone in on that just a little bit because you're saying that you have affirmations that you are listening to or reading every day, and that helps you move forward in the call that God has on your life. So just tell us, are those affirmations that you wrote yourself? Do you have a book that you're reading or that you regularly refer to? Tell us a little bit about those affirmations because I do affirmations too, and I know how important they are. I'm in a 90-day affirmation about favor with my son right now. So just talk to us a little bit about how you do that. How do you get your affirmations? You write them or you read them, etc. Okay.
I was gonna grab my journal. I have a journal by my bed, and
Uh-huh.
so I try to write like it's therapeutic for me to write how I feel because I'll write my affirmations out, but I do have some that I have saved on YouTube that I listen to every morning. So in the summertime, I walk every morning. So every morning it's like my communion with God. So I start out with prayer, I start out with my affirmations, and I repeat them back to myself. And then in my book, I write down wherever I feel inadequate, I reverse that thing and tell myself something positive. I am enough. I am beautiful. And for 21 days, I always say whatever affirmations you have, whatever you're feeling, say it over and over again, at least for 21 days, or every month have this month I am going to, be strong, or I'm going to convince myself that I'm enough. Whatever it is that you want. And, I want to get a promotion, or I want to start my own business.
Yeah.
Write down what you want and tell the Lord and watch him work.
Yeah.
And you can go back, like when the pandemic happened, and we all came home. I wrote down all that I wanted God to do during this pandemic, bring families closer, bring us close together and all this. And I just can sit back and look at those affirmations I said every day and see that God did what you asked him to do.
Yes, I love that. I think I got to share one thing that just came to mind is that how the affirmations work because so many of us are so fearful of so many things. I just have to say this to all the women all over the world. We become so fearful about it can be things moorings that we've adjusted to because we've grown up hearing them, and so we're afraid to take a risk. We're afraid to step outside of our comfort zones. We're afraid even to meet other women when we walk into a new place. So Tammy, tell us, because I know that the affirmations, even in doing them myself, it doesn't stop me from dealing with whatever issues I might have. But how do you transcend those issues through those affirmations? How do you reassure yourself? How do you keep your mind stayed in the vein of believing that affirmation?
Of course, when you start to speak things as though they were, and
Yeah.
when they are not, the devil will get busy and try to convince you otherwise. So
Yes.
you just have to continue to speak God's word back to him. And the one thing that I wanted to say that you said too, I remember when I was younger, I would always tell my grandma, what will they say?
Yes.
If I do this, what will they say? And one day my grandmother said it to me, and then my best friend said it to me later. She said, baby, who are they? She said, you don't live your life for they, you live your life for him. And
Yes.
that was just like an aha moment for me because, we as women, if I see a sister, doing her thing, or if I greet them with a smile, we need to build each other up and encourage each
Yes.
other, and be a support system for each other. But, as soon as you start to speak what you want, and as soon as you start to say you trust God, patience, be careful, because the thing around you will try to draw you away. Okay, this was not seminars. Every day is a do-over, a try again. And so if Tuesday wasn't a good day, you lay your burdens down at night and get back up and start right back over again.
Yes.
Every day, find the lesson in everything. There's a lesson in everything. And so instead of us saying I failed, no, you learned. You learned today.
Oh,
You
that's
didn't
good.
fail.
I love that. I love that. You learned, you didn't fail. Beautiful, beautiful. Tammy, talk to us a little bit about, we know we're in this pandemic, and some people see that in a negative vein, some in positive. I believe that those of us who are in Christ have taken that time to draw closer to God in some way. But how have you been able to use that time or this time, because we're still in it, and build yourself up in your most holy faith? Talk to us a little bit about that in terms of the pandemic and some of the things that you've done. And then don't let me forget, because Tammy, you can cook, so you gotta share some. You gotta share something about how you, because I really want, in doing this series, I want women to see these incredible women who look like us, who had a rough start, or who has those ups and downs, those ebbs and flows that come in our lives, but we still get up and transcend those boundaries every day. And we have, God has given us so many gifts, and the word tells us the gifts of God are without repentance, and we have so many things that we do. And I want women to know it doesn't take money to do it. For me, it takes the love of God and knowing him. So you got to do those two things. You got to tell me about what you're doing during the pandemic, and then you got to talk about your cooking a little bit for us.
During the pandemic, literally, I said it in March. I said, God is hitting the reset button.
Yes.
He removed every distraction that we had.
Yes.
He removed, I'm speaking for me. He removed shopping. He removed all different types of TV. He removed me from being busy.
Yes.
Running here, running to the church, and then stop, having to take care of business here. Everything kind of slowed down.
Yes.
And again, in all of this, you have to stop and say, Lord, what are you trying to teach us? Because there is a huge lesson in this pandemic. One is that we can't be selfish. We can't be selfish because a lot of people have gotten the virus simply because somebody else didn't think about the other person. The other thing is that we don't need much at all. Yeah. Think about it. Most of us probably haven't shopped that much. I mean, if we did, where are we going? We can't wear it anywhere.
Right.
And we have to go back to the center of everything, and that's our families. We have talked, and I know I have seen and talked to my families more during this pandemic than I have in all my life. I used to go to Mississippi once or twice a year. I talked to my grandmother every day because of the prayer line. And I mean, I talk to her anyway, but it's like, and we do Zooms, we see each other, we're encouraging each other. So God hit the reset button. And at the beginning of 2020, I said, I did a whole Tuesday tidbits about this was the year of perfect vision, to be consistent and persistent. And this is the scabs have been removed. We have been exposed to things we probably never would have seen or paid attention to because we're so busy. Yeah. We're running here, we're running there, but everybody is on the same level playing field. Anybody can get sick, anybody can prosper, or anybody can lose it. We're all almost even killed. So it makes you appreciate what you have. I always say focus on the haves instead of the have-nots. Because if you always looking at what you don't have, you're never gonna stop and thank God for what you do. And we don't, like I said, we don't need much. All I needed was Walmart. That's all I've needed to cook, because I love to cook. Yeah. And we have a good from March to November.
So tell us a little bit about some of the dishes that you specialize in. I mean, I've seen you cook and seen some of the pics or the videos. So just, share with what, really the cooking, but also what it does for you, what it does for your family.
There's a story behind that too. My mom was a single mom. She had my sister when I was 10. And my grandmother put me on a milk crate. And she told me, she said, girl, come on in here. You're going to have to learn how to cook because your mama works hard. You're going to need to be able to help your mom. And my grandmother, when she would cook, she would sing, she would be praising the Lord and singing her hymns. And we would just have a good old time. So I've always looked at cooking as therapeutic. I love to cook. And I can cook for 200 people or I can cook for 5 people. Some of my specialties are macaroni and cheese, my potato salad, my dressing. And I mean, I cook. So, you know, I
and
love
there's one more thing. I hear that you have these incredible mashed potatoes. Is that correct?
my cream cheese mashed potatoes.
Yes.
And I remember we had an event and Henrietta was like, are you sure you're gonna be able to make the mashed potatoes? I was like, I got it. I love to cook. My dream, one of my dreams later is to have a soul food restaurant.
Yes, beautiful.
And it's always been a bonding time with my family. My son, my children come in, my mom, you know, we come together, we listen to music. So I absolutely love to cook, and hopefully one day, you know, that turns into something. But if not, I just keep cooking for my family and my church members.
Yes, beautiful. We are at the bottom of our half hour, and it has been incredible. I wish they were a little bit longer, but I just wanted to just bring in everybody that I can for these 30-minute segments to let women know it doesn't take a long time to get to know somebody. The things that we are comparable in, we learn those things in these 30 minutes and we enhance those. We get off the line and think about the things, the gifts that God has put inside of us, and we're encouraged. We know, hey, I can do that too. Or I remember when my grandmother showed me, you know, it reawakens those things that God has put inside of us. And they were always there. We just stopped looking. We just stopped searching. And so I'm so excited and so grateful for you, Tammy P. Moore. I have to say the whole thing because, girl, you are all of that. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all the ladies who joined in on the line with us today on Zoom. One thing I do want to say is in January 3rd, I'm hoping to bring all of the ladies who've been on these segments of Women Transcending Boundaries back together on a Saturday, that first Saturday in 2021, for us to all come together and just have a good time to talk, to share a little bit more about ourselves and do that collectively. I will be facilitating, but I want to hear from you all. So I look forward to you all joining us again. Next week, we'll be back again. Got another incredible woman who's transcended boundaries, and we're going to give them the opportunity to tell their story. We're going to create that platform that they can stand on and share who they are. So much to everybody. I love that. I love that about God. He put so much inside of us. And Tammy, you are so incredible, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep changing lives, and I keep ministering. And you know, that is one of the things that I have loved so much about you, is that, you know, every time I've seen you present, share what God has given you, it has changed the lives of so many women, and I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. And to all the other ladies on the line, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that there was something that you heard today that will help you transcend any boundary that comes before you, because God has put it all in us. He didn't give it to us to sit on it. He gave it to us to share. So keep sharing, and thank you all for joining us. And again, we'll be right back here next Saturday, 12 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock Central. I will see you then. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Tammy, so much.
Thank you for having me. Be blessed, everybody.
You too.